This is the College of Knowledge. RUDO BOKA CEO, Boka Group of Companies. RUDO is the CEO of the Boka Group of Companies with interests in real estate, gold and chrome mining, financial services, contract farming and agribusiness marketing.
A few months ago, I was fortunate to attend my very first College of Knowledge seminar, and it is an honor to be here again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine feeling safe and thinking that nothing is or nothing else can go wrong, and then boom, your world comes crashing down on you. In a season dedicated to hope and expectant longing, it is important to acknowledge the fact that some of us have very difficult lives. And the approach of Christmas can intensify every emotion and leave us feeling helpless and hopeless. For some, there are extraordinarily painful realities, and more financial dilemmas are tearing us apart. If we have lost a loved one, if we are facing a life-threatening health crisis, or if we are struggling to endure a chronic condition, we can find ourselves nearly paralyzed emotionally and spiritually. And when we go through difficult stuff, one of the problems is that we let everyone know about it by creating a pity party for ourselves. Yes, we need to let others in, but when does the line get crossed from counsel and support to attention-seeking and the poor me attitude? We have to be on guard for those who would steer us in the wrong direction, for those that would flatter us and blatantly deceive us. There will be friends who disappoint us. There will be enemies who surprise us. There will be letdowns, disappointments, travesties. And the one thing you can trust at some point in your life is that you will certainly face disillusionment. In such situations, we typically expect that no relief is in sight, and the word perseverance can put us off, especially if it is coming from someone who doesn't seem to understand what we are suffering. So let me share this message with you today. It's a message of encouragement. The cause for some of us to bounce back in response to challenges, failures, or disappointment, while others are left giving up, is perseverance. For instance, after more than 10,000 attempts at inventing the incandescent light bulb before he was successful, Thomas Edison said, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." Another example is a certain individual who over a 30-year period failed 10 times in his business and political career to being elected President of the United States of America in 1860. That person was Abraham Lincoln. There are many inspiring true stories of people throughout history who have accomplished amazing and impressive things. However, they were not always great athletes, business persons, professionals, but sometimes they were just ordinary people that were highly motivated by a greater cause. With perseverance, they were able to achieve tremendous success against seemingly insurmountable odds. For most people, getting through a day, getting through a week or a year is all about perseverance. It's all about the perseverance that they can muster. Working full-time jobs, raising children, attending church or social situations, these things take up all their time. Perseverance is not limited to maneuvering through crises or disaster, but enduring the day after day faithfulness to get up and do what is needed, regardless of the obstacles. Newt Gingrich said, "Perseverance is the hard work you do after you get tired of doing the hard work you already did." However, it is one thing to read about or be told about someone persevering through times of adversity, and certainly quite another being the person who is going through difficult times and trying to persevere. Renowned therapist Megan Bruno inspires us that 7 qualities can see us through when we are faced with difficulties. Number 1, find and understand the meaning. When we go through disappointment, loss, or trauma, finding meaning in our pain helps us to accept and integrate what we have gone through. Resilient individuals trust that there's a gift, a lesson, or an opportunity in every challenging situation. Begin to accept the meaning of unwanted experiences. Say to yourself, what lesson is this? How can I help someone? Or what emotional fortification is taking place inside me? What is being strengthened? When it's not cleared what it is you're being prepared for, have faith that it will be revealed in the future and believe that a great protection is manifesting out of that tragedy. Number 2, accept your vulnerability. Counseling and support are imperative and essential for surviving a difficult time. Yet this is dependent on our vulnerability. Unfortunately, for many of us, we are conditioned to appear strong and composed, especially amidst the chaos. Taking off our veils, our facial masks, our shields, we are conditioned to appear strong and composed. Sharing our true experience with the people that we trust and asking for help are ways we can be vulnerable and open up to receiving counsel. We need to share our challenges with the people we trust. If there's no one in your life with whom you feel safe being unmasked, consider connecting with a therapist, and also remind yourself that you are not alone. There are so many of us experiencing something similar at this time. Number 3, surrender. I told you about surrendering when I decided to renew my life in Christ. Believing that everything is in our control is impossible and most certainly stressful. Surrendering to the reality that we have influence over very little in our life is actually relieving. If we have some sense of spirituality or faith or trust in a process, this takes away anxiety. You have to ask yourself, what is in your control? When it is clear that it is not in your control, stop fighting it and exercise surrendering to life's uncertainties. Embrace your spirituality or trust in something greater than yourself. Number 4, love yourself. Okay, this is not vanity. Okay, so what do I mean? Have a supportive relationship with yourself. No one gets you out of bed every morning. You do it yourself. So many of us are unaware that we compound our suffering by delaying and even avoiding the healing process because we beat ourselves up. To foster resilience, we need self-compassion. This is so true because when we're supportive and encouraging to ourselves in response to a disappointment or a failure, we bounce back more easily. Alternatively, when we criticize and undermine ourselves, we struggle with forgiving ourselves and moving on when things don't go according to plan. So consistently remind yourself that you are not an object without feelings, that you are a normal, imperfect human being like everyone else. And screwing up and feeling crappy, apologies, Pastor Duck, is part of that process. Empathize with your feelings of shame or disappointment or loss, and then congratulate yourself on taking the risk or stepping out of your comfort zone. There is always a dawn, and you are your best cheerleader. Number 5, amplify your humor. Your emotions need balance, and humor is a tremendous coping mechanism. Humor is a way of connecting with others, integrating painful experience, finding meaning, and developing a positive narrative for a pain-filled story. If you were sharing an experience with your friend, what comedy could you highlight out of it? Always look for the satirical and entertaining moments in pain. Number 6, be grateful. It can be a lot worse. I have stressed about my personal problems lately, and then the other day I recalled the recent bus accidents and tragedies that were in Rosape and Gwanda. Just to name those, that brought me to a serious reality check. Finding perspective and gratitude can help us back on track after being derailed. We certainly do not need to be dismissive of our struggles, but we have to acknowledge them in a less daunting manner. Our existence is delicate and uncertain. So if we are blessed to have the precious gift of life, of health, of freedom, of safety, of connection, be aware of that. Number 7, okay, I get to use a big word this time, equanimity. This is defined as a state of psychological stability and composure, which is undisturbed by experience of or exposure to emotions, pain, or other phenomena that may cause others to lose balance of their mind. Keep a set of earplugs. Your composure in bad circumstances is essentially non-reactivity and the product of mindfulness. Take note of your circumstances with acceptance, grace, and compassion. The more we exercise thoughtfulness, the less affected we are by traumas in any sphere of our lives. Focus to notice your thoughts and emotions as though you're watching them through a television or a movie screen. Is it working? Okay. So, don't give up. Don't give up. Calvin Coolidge was the 30th president of the United States of America, and he once wrote, "Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent." That's according to him, not me. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination are omnipotent. The slogan, "Press on," has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. Tenacity is about embracing failure. A failure does not make you. It is just meant to point you in the right direction. Being resilient means having a never say die mindset. Failure is a marker of success in its own right because you went out and you tried something. So avoid visualizing the negative out of fear. F. Scott Fitzgerald said, "Never confuse a single defeat with the final defeat." Real courage is when you know you are kicked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and you see it through no matter what. Teddy Roosevelt, courage is not having the strength to go on. It is going on when you don't have the strength. So work on building these qualities, and not only will you be more resilient when faced with adversity, you will feel empowered to take the risks you need to succeed. Finally, how can you cope when the pain doesn't go away as fast as you want it? As fast as you want it to. The pain won't just go away. They say time heals. However, embrace your pain. When you need to cry, let it out. If you have to vent, jog. If you need to explode and release, get a pair of boxing gloves, but only use them on a punching bag. Most significantly, our focus has to be more and more on the promises of God. We need to dialogue with God through the emotional cries for help, reliance and drawing of strength from the Psalms. We cannot lose our perspective, our attitude, our hope, our humor. God is glorified through our suffering. We showcase our Lord by pointing to him, by relying on him. Nothing gets our attention more than circumstances that cause us to look up and not at ourselves. So remember, perseverance is steady persistence in a course of action, a purpose, especially in spite of difficulties or discouragement. It is a continuation in a state of grace to the end, leading to eternal salvation. The Latin meaning of the word persevere says, by means of truth. We persevere by recalling and staying close to the truth. What truth? The truth of who we are and what our life is about, our purpose. We are diminished and nullified so we can be great. I take this opportunity to thank you for taking the time to listen, and most especially, I express my gratitude to the Baker Tilly Group, Baker Tilly International, Baba Gwatidzo, Vimbai and team for extending a healing and sharing platform. Thank you.